This message is actually directed at everybody on this planet, but most especially in the United States. We have entered a new phase of attack by the shadow government. They are now using phosgene gas to poison living things all over this planet. The birds are dropping right out of the sky, fish are bubbling up dead all over the place. There's several different agents that are involved, but phosgene is the primary one. There are people who are having their swimming pool waters tested. Phosgene, when it meets with water, makes a specific kind of acid, and so it's easy to tell whether you're in an area of chemtrails where phosgene is being sprayed. I want everybody to know what the symptoms of phosgene poisoning are, but first you need to know what it looks like and what it smells like. It's a chemical warfare toxin that was used in World War I, and Saddam Hussein had huge stockpiles of it, and when we went in there to confiscate his weapons of mass destruction, that's what we took. We brought it to Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I have intelligence that says that they tried to bury it deep in the ground there and it started seeping up. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know that they are spraying it from these planes. The trajectory of the planes leaving Pine Bluff, Arkansas are leaving a trail of death in their wake through various states in our country. And our country is not the only one under attack right now. Other countries around the world are also under attack. The Italian government knows it's phosgene and has said so publicly. Everybody knows that it's the shadow government of the United States that is behind this attack. And I wanted our citizens to know that. There is plenty that we can do to make this stop, and being very vocal about it is one of those things. An attack like this can't operate in the open anyway, so as soon as we all start barking about it, they're going to knock it off. So the fastest way to bring this to a halt is for everybody to at least talk about it. And before the Black Swan, Operation Black Swan began in November of last year on the 8th, I went on my YouTube channel with my phone number and encouraged everybody who was connected in any way with the media, whether it was radio or television, to call me. I'm going to do that once again. I've reactivated the phone number I had before, 916-275-3468. I am more than willing to do interviews to talk about the specifics. I do have a lot of evidence that I can present on a news channel that has already been put together. We do have a private lab that has agreed to test the birds that have been dying in various places around our country. We'll have results from that next week, thanks to Colonel Corso. We have a number of individuals who are actively involved in exposing this and warning the public so that you guys can take precautions. This is the same kind of attack that has been launched against China in the past. When the SARS virus was unloosed on them, there was many people who went and duct taped their doors and windows so that they would not be contaminated, and some of them did such a good job they actually died of asphyxiation in their own homes. We don't need to be that severe. The hang time for phosgene is really just a few days depending on where you live. If you're in a valley and whether or not you get breezes and how cold it is. The colder it is outside, the longer the hang time for phosgene. This stuff causes upper respiratory distress syndrome, adult respiratory distress syndrome. And it will be mistaken for bronchitis and pneumonia in the hospitals. They'll assume you have a virus or something more common and typical, and that's not going to be it, and they're not going to help you very well if they mistake your diagnosis. So anybody who is showing a hacking cough, spasms in breathing in or out, if you're coughing so hard you're having blood tinge at all, whether pink or red, I don't care. If you feel like you're filling up with fluids, you probably are. And the way to treat this exposure, number one, is to get yourself completely showered off and cleaned up, your clothes changed, everything. As soon as you start seeing those planes spraying chemtrails over your house, you need to be prepared with duct tape and plastic. And this has even been said by higher officials in the United States who know that we had a risk of being attacked by these kinds of toxins. We just didn't know it was going to be our own government that would do it to us. But it is. It's our own military. The Air Force and the Navy are controlled by entities that do not have any regard for human life whatsoever. And so their agenda is to reduce the human population by starving it out. And they're beginning with, they've been killing the bees, now the fish and the birds, and of course humans are succumbing to the phosgene as well. It is a very effective choking agent, and it will choke you to death if you're not careful. So, okay, the way to treat this, if you do have bronchitis symptoms, if you are coughing a lot and the cough medicines are not helping you, you need a prescription with codeine in it. You need some kind of opiate to calm down that spasm and to get yourself to stop coughing. It is the coughing, the irritation that causes the fluid to build up. That hacking cough that just won't go away will drown you in pneumonia if you're not careful. Once you have the fluid in your lungs, then your lungs will get too tacky and you'll start hanging on to bacteria and other things and set yourself up for secondary infections. You don't want to do that. To deal with the inflammation from the coughing that is already going on, if you know somebody that's already sick with this, anti-inflammatory medications are good. Any kind of Tylenol, Aleve, something like that will help. I recommend Excedrin, migraine strength. It has aspirin and Tylenol in it, and also some caffeine. If you're loaded up with fluid, speeding up your metabolism can't hurt any. It will actually cause you to heat up and expire more fluids off of your skin, so reducing your total fluid load that way. Basically, all you can do is just mitigate the symptoms of phosgene poison. There are some places that have been being poisoned steadily since July. Kingman, Arizona is one such place. The incidences of people there who have this chronic respiratory condition since August is way up, and I do know of a woman who could lose her life, or could have lost her life had we not learned what it was that was affecting her and what she was doing to make it worse, and what you can do to make it worse. People tend to do automatically. We're told that when we're sick that we want to juice. Well, you don't want to do that. You don't want anything with sugar in it, not fruit, not anything. You want to limit anything you ingest that has simple carbohydrates in it whatsoever. So no grain products at all. Just avoid them. And just go on green leafy vegetable juices, green, not orange, not any other color, just green. Limited as you can on simple sugars, simple carbohydrates, and if you don't know what those are, go on the internet and educate yourself. And then you'll see people who have been sick for weeks to months with this phosgene poison all of a sudden get better once you correct their diet. The most important thing that needs to happen after you get the diet and the energy balanced in their system is to get that cough stopped. And none of the antitussive agents sold over the counter are going to be sufficient for anybody with phosgene contamination. So if you've taken everything that you could and you still have a cough, or you know somebody, or you have family members with this persistent cough that's not going away and they're just tired, perhaps even disoriented, this is the way out for them. Go take them to the doctor and get a prescription of a cough medicine with a good strong codeine dose in it, sufficient for their body weight, age, etc. And I'm going to, on my radio show on Sunday, bring out more specifics of the evidence to corroborate and substantiate. But a government official was murdered over this. He knew what was going on. He was very, very close to the chemical warfare situation over many years. He was Mr. Wheeler was in the Bush Senior administration. He's a very seasoned professional, and he went and told them that if they did not cease and desist, he was going to tell President Putin about it, and knowing that he would take action. And they murdered him on his way home from that Washington, D.C. meeting. And now a reporter that was investigating his murder and investigating the phosgene poisoning going from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, everywhere else. And by the way, they're shipping this stuff overseas too. They're planning on using it on the Afghanistan situation as well, but they're already spraying all over Europe. Animals are dying everywhere. This is not unique to the United States. This is a planetary attack. I repeat, this is a planetary attack. And those responsible are in the shadow government of the United States, Britain, and Australia. Those are your aggressors, and we've got to shut them down. And we shut them down with the truth. In the light of awareness, it all goes away. They can't continue doing this. They know they'll go to jail. They can pretend it was an accident. They tried to say that a pilot error caused the first spraying twice, 2 days in a row, off of that Pine Bluff Air Force Base. That pilot sprayed phosgene supposedly on accident. They didn't give us the pilot's name. How about we interview that pilot, find out his name? What did he think he was spraying? How did he accidentally flip that switch 2 days running and let it just stay there spraying for hours as he flew around? Really, that's an accident? Let's talk to this guy, okay? This is what needs to happen. They can kill one reporter, but they can't kill all y'all, and they can't kill all of us. All right? So they've gotten away with 2 murders on this already, and the way we make this stop is we get active and we get vocal, we get loud, and we do it now. So those of you who are connected to anybody who's connected to anybody in the media, again, 916-275-3468. And again, this is an alien problem, whether the humans on this planet want to believe it or not. Those that want you dead are not human. They don't care about you, never have. They've been living amongst the humans for many, many years, and they've figured a lot of ways to have great advantage for themselves over us. But this is the end of the line for them. They have gone too far. They've gone to the point where heaven won't allow it. There are forces, divine forces, who represent Prime Creator here to protect the humans against this murderous intention. So even though we have a lot of help, we have a lot of responsibility, and we even have some culpability about sitting on because we sat on our butts and pretended like our government wasn't broken when it obviously has been broken for decades. Decades, folks. Your entire lifetime, I guarantee you. Most people alive today, yeah. Okay, and we've been letting the situation get worse and worse and worse. So part of us being accountable is that we make it stop right now. The new Republic of the of America is already ready. They're already grooming their Supreme Court justices. We have an entire government that's ready to roll out here pretty quick. This has been worked behind the scenes for a couple of years. It's just about ready to roll. We are going to collapse the central government of the United States. The Federal Reserve is going to collapse under its own evil paradigms. They screwed themselves. But the government, the military, we don't need it. It doesn't serve us going forward. We're not going to be a people of competition and strife any longer. We have no need of it. It doesn't serve us. Most of us are becoming telepathic more and more every single day. And folks, there are no secrets in heaven. All right, as we become more united in mind, as we evolve ever more towards, as we integrate the higher cosmic energies, the higher cosmic radiation that we're experiencing, where we're at, crossing the galactic divide, we are evolving as a species, and telepathy and metaphysical powers are going to be quite innate and natural to all of us. So that's why, most of all, this is the end of the line for them. They're not going to be able to harbor an evil thought that we're not aware of. We will know who's who just by being in their proximity. But for now, we can tell who's who by the way they're acting and what their intentions are and what their agenda is. And the agenda of the liberal, progressive left is an anti-human agenda. Okay, everybody participating in that agenda is guilty of crimes against humanity, either accomplished or intended in the laws and the rules that they have passed, most of it illegally, following corporate law. The United States is not a corporation, it's a nation. And we're going to stop letting it be run like a corporation, owned by corporations, traded by corporations. We're going to end the entire paradigm because we're now going to be aware of it, and it's evil, it doesn't serve us, we're done with it. Okay, so again, my name is Colleen Thomas. My phone number is out there for reporters, for newscasters, for talk show hosts, for radio show hosts. This is not a, y'all come, call me, be my friend. This is important, this is serious. So just please pass my number along to those that you think can or will do something about this story. Tell them that I do have a plethora of physical evidence that I can send them, email them, present on their show or on their program, whatever it is. I don't care how I get that information out there. I have it. I got it from Sam Muggsy, my girlfriend. She's in touch with a lot of heavyweights out there, and she's getting the dope on this. And this is for real. This is not a drill. This is not a joke. This is a continuation of Operation Black Swan that started in November. It's not over yet. This initiative will be over in a few weeks. It ends with your attention and your action, and not before. So don't just absorb this and go on your merry way. Take it and do something with it and circulate it far and wide. If you don't have anybody in your sphere of influence that could do something with this information, then share it with everybody, because eventually you'll connect it to somebody who can do something about it, who can do something about getting it on the air. Really, that's all we need, because once it's on the air, the people responsible for doing this are going to stand down. So all we got to do is bleed our horn to make it go away. We don't have to worry about arresting officials. That'll all take care of itself in time. We know who's guilty. This will shake out in time as far as that goes. We just need it to stop. People are dying, animals are dying, the ecosystems of this planet are being sorely and severely affected by this and by the fracking that's going on in the natural gas industry. That needs to stop too. That also is a deliberate contamination of the environment of this planet to cause the death of human beings and animal life on this planet. These guys don't need it. They live off of negative energy. They don't care if these things live or die, but we do. This is our planet. We need to take it back. We need to stand up for it. That's our job. And I thank every one of you for caring enough about doing your job with me and doing your part. I know everybody cares. And those that have been asleep, wake them up, okay? It's no more time for sleep. If this doesn't jerk somebody awake, then they deserve whatever fate they get. Seriously, if you're just going to sit there and let your house be sprayed upon with these chemtrails over and over, we've been doing it for years, folks. At first it was chaff so that they could have their blind radio transmissions. Now it's different. Now they're poisoning us. Not that the chaff was any good for us, but now they're trying to kill us. We got to make that stop. That's our job, folks, as a species, if we want to hold this world, and we do, because it's going to be a great place when we're done with it. In love. Bye-bye.